Next, we'll hear from Julia Ann Easley. Julia Ann is a senior public information representative in our news service. It's a post that she's held for the last decade. She's also an American Red Cross Disaster Services volunteer, one of the so-called Katrina kids who joined the Red Cross after Hurricane Katrina struck. She helped then by supervising the public affairs team at the largest Red Cross center in Louisiana. Since then, she's assisted the Red Cross at the Tahoe and Gora fire last summer and the San Diego wildfires last fall. Julianne.
Good morning. I received this small, crumpled note 3 years ago this week, and since then, I've treasured it. In just a few scribbled words, it says so much about public service and my experience with the American Red Cross. In the wake of Hurricane Katrina, my heart compelled me to see what I could do. I volunteered with the American Red Cross, and I was sent to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, on my first disaster services assignment. I was charged with managing public affairs at the largest shelter in the state. That included overseeing the visits of dignitaries, electeds, television personalities, and media from around the world. Long days were spent in hiking boots as I went from one end to the other of this huge River Center Convention Center. And I want to tell you that the escalators that went between the two stories, they weren't moving. So that was the days. Nights, I was on a cot in the fellowship hall of a local Catholic church, and later at the shelter itself. When my hiking socks got too stiff, I surrendered them to an ad hoc laundry service that parish families operated for the volunteers. One evening, the clean socks came back in a plastic bag with a brownie, Mardi Gras friendship beads, and this note. Here's what the note says. I had to get a new bag, smelly. Have a good day. Thanks for your help. When even just one steps out to serve, many walk together, often in quiet, unrecognized ways. The teen who washed my socks and wrote this note, in a way, went with me every day. Help me show you how UC Davis was there with me too. If you shaped campus policies that encouraged employees like me to volunteer for what was the largest and most devastating natural disaster in our nation's history, if, in the busyness of September, you freed me from my duties here to follow the tug on my heart, if you shouldered any of my responsibilities or waited patiently for something to be done while I was away, if you slipped something into a care package that followed me from UC Davis to Baton Rouge, if you lent me confidence and encouragement and prayer, if you could answer yes to any of these questions, would you please stand now? Is the Chancellor standing? Come on. Thank you. Now let me tell you what else you and I have done together. When I volunteered to help the people after Hurricane Katrina, and last year during the Tahoe and Gora and San Diego wildfires, you were there too. You provided vital information so disaster victims found emergency shelter, food, and comfort. You helped shelter residents tell their stories in news interviews. You helped protect their privacy and their dignity. And you helped the American Red Cross be accountable to the people of America. As the winds and the rains of Hurricane Rita beat down on Baton Rouge, you welcomed a weary woman and her elderly mother into the haven of the shelter. In South Lake Tahoe, you helped a mother affected by the fire use a Red Cross service to get a message halfway round the world to her son who was serving in the military. She was okay. And in your arms, you caught the spills of grief and loss and relief and joy from 1,000 conversations and even more, the silences. In my most challenging assignment in Baton Rouge, I served as a point person for the visit of former President Bill Clinton. My team and I needed and received the support of many fellow volunteers, and they were eager to share in that excitement that just rocked the shelter. After the visit was over, all of the Red Cross volunteers gathered for a staff meeting. I poured out my appreciation to them, the volunteers we borrowed from other units, and many others who helped. I also paid a special thank you to those who remained at their regular stations and kept shelter services going. When I thanked them, I was also thinking of you. Thank you, UC Davis.